How's it going, guys? And as promised, I'm back with another Ocarina of Time video, and we're going to be looking at the Shadow Temple today, and just how messed up and creepy this place is. Now, overall, I think that the well is a better atmosphere for creepiness. I just think that the Shadow Temple, is just a bigger dungeon and does creepiness well. It just kind of has a different sort of element to it. Doesn't really have that whole liminal space thing going on, but that doesn't mean that the place does not deserve to be talked about and justified in all its creepy goodness. So, as I talked about in the last video, Link arrives at Kakariko Village. He sees that Kakariko is ablaze and he sees Sheik standing by the well. Link goes over the Sheik to see what he's looking at, and a big, powerful blast just knocks the well loose, and a spirit comes charging forth, knocks Link on his ass, and Sheik goes on to tell Link about the lore behind Kakariko Village and how the leader of the village, Impa, who is Zelda's former attendant, how she locked the spirit beneath the well and actually kept it there under a powerful magical seal. And thanks to Ganondorf, now that seal has been broken, and now that spirit has been let loose, and that spirit is Bongo Bongo. So, what we spoke about in the last video, you've went down into the well, you've gotten the Lens of Truth, now you've learned the Ocarina song that will bring you up to the Shadow Temple. And where's the Shadow Temple? Well, it's been looming over Kakariko Village all this time, over in the graveyard. And this just makes it creepy enough. I mean, so what is the Shadow Temple? Well, this place is actually a torture chamber. This is a place where they actually tortured enemies of the royal family in Hyrule. And you might be asking yourself, just like all the stuff we've talked about so far in this little series here on my channel, this game is rated E for everyone, right? And we have a freaking torture chamber in the game here, guys. I mean, that's I think seriously that is like if a game is going to get a rating that is anything other than an E, like a T rating, this would definitely be time for it. But surprisingly, no, they didn't really see this one as needing anything more than just an old E rating, just a family friendly E rating. So you go into this chamber, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere unless you have the hook shot first, and you're not going to get too far if you haven't gotten the Lens of Truth yet. So first thing, when I came into this dungeon as a kid, you're going to see basically the first major puzzle, and it's this bird statue. And I don't know what it was. I think maybe I might have clicked through the text too fast, but I didn't know exactly like what I was doing. I was moving this statue, and what it tells you originally is that if you point its beak at the right skull, then you can progress onward. If you point it at the wrong skull, you're going to be plunged into deep darkness. And I guess I didn't see that deep darkness part, so sure enough, I pointed at the wrong skull, and the floor opens up and you fall into oblivion. And I remember this scared the shit out of me as a kid, because I mean, that's the funny thing. I actually gotta say, in retrospect, I'm a little disappointed that they did do this. Like they did kind of warn you, and sort of like a not like so much like hitting it on the nose, but they kind of sort of did by kind of telling you what's going to happen if you fail at this puzzle. But if they didn't tell you anything, and the trap is sprung out of nowhere, I think that would have been a little bit more effective. But it was effective nonetheless, because I guess I honestly didn't get the message as a kid. So as you use a Lens of Truth, you progress a little bit further on the same floor, and you come across this room, which, I could swear this is like a tomb, but I don't think that it really is. But there's skulls up on the wall, and get this, one of them actually, the message reads, "Shadow Temple, here is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred." And like that line right there, I mean, once again, like E for everyone, everybody. I mean, they're telling you right here that this is a messed up place. You shouldn't probably be here. This is not a happy place. And as you progress onward, you'll fight the dead hand again, which we've already talked about in my Beneath the Well video. And, you know, this guy is all messed up, bloodstained and all. He's just a real, you know, mass of inhumanity, and just disturbing to look at once again. And here we are looking at him once again, dead in the eye, or hand, as the name would indicate. But yeah, seriously, this is a messed up enemy. And as you'll go through this dungeon, you're going to see that there is these Grim Reaper statues spinning around with sights, and that looks creepy enough. And you'll go a little bit further and you'll see there's actually an invisible one. I remember walking into this room and getting hit, and I'm like, what's hitting me? I look through the lens of truth, and we see the Grim Reaper statues there again. As you get into the basement, you'll see there's guillotines. Of course, there's a wall master. You gotta have one of those. All the creepy dungeons and places in this game has to have one. But weirdly enough, there's only one wall master here. This dungeon's more about floor masters. And there's like one really creepy part where you'll see a bunch of them down in the basement after you've taken the creepy ghost ship, which is, you know, creepy enough with the jangling bells as you're fighting against these Stalfos soldiers. And then the boat just ends up sinking. And I remember kind of like panicking as a kid. I don't know, you know, these things I did kind of freak me out. This game was probably like the first game that really freaked me out as a kid, as I indicated back in my Forest Temple video. You know, there's just a lot of things that just like never happened to me before in these sorts of games, and really speaks to the legacy of Ocarina of Time, and, you know, just its whole entire narrative and atmosphere. So you go in this room, there's floor masters walking around, and it looks really creepy. And the fact that it's like sort of like a mini labyrinth, you have to look through the lens of truth. And this is the first time where you're not actually using it to look through walls. You're actually using it, you're looking through it to actually see the walls so you can make it through this little labyrinth. And then you go into a door, and again you see one of those like crosses, and that you saw down in the well. Remember that center room that I talked about with the blood stains on the floor? You get that again here. And there's something about this one, I gotta say, I've kind of changed my mind since making that Beneath the Well video. This room is like 10 times more creepy. And this is basically the room you're looking at. And it's just the whole fact that it's like tucked away in the back, like all the way in the back of this dungeon. And it of course, you're just like looking like, oh, okay, well, what's in this room? And then all of a sudden you get hit. You get blasted, and there's an invisible floor master in here. I just thought this whole room is just like super creepy, and it's you know, I like it in its simplicity how it is, because there's like not much here, but just having that, like, you know, torture. Some people have called it the rack. It's more like just some sort of like weird cross, and seeing that there in the room right there is extremely like messed up, as I said, for a game that's really kind of marketed as being family friendly, mind you. And I guess that's also what kind of makes it 10 times more creepy, because you kind of think about it, you could play games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, and there's just a certain level of creepiness that is just very unique to this sort of game. And later on, you'll fight against Bongo Bongo, and check out the ominous as fuck room right before his boss room. I mean, you can't tell me that this doesn't creep you out just a little bit. And, you know, Bongo Bongo is maybe not that creepy when you look at him, but it's more about the sound that he makes, like that voice, that like rhythmic sound. And I guess that's kind of part of the whole thing, the whole music vibe around him, you know, drumming his disembodied hands on the drum, which, you know, that also, I don't think I really looked into that as a kid. And you kind of have this like weird sort of story. You know, you talk to this old man in Kakariko Village, and he tells you that there was a guy that had his house where the will was eventually built. And there's a lot of theories online that might be the guy that eventually became Bongo Bongo, and that guy might have been a prisoner of the royal family, because that's sort of what this thing is. And, you know, was there a person that eventually became Bongo Bongo? Was this person reborn as Bongo Bongo, perhaps? I don't know. I think that's actually a really fun theory to look into. If anyone has played this game, do you believe that theory? But yeah, the sound effects that they gave to Bongo Bongo are just really just like chill-inducing. And yeah, so, you know, overall, this dungeon is a really freaky deaky place. It definitely was going for that. I think more than the Forest Temple even. You know, I don't think with Forest Temple they really set out to make it scary, but somehow they succeeded. I think they wanted to make it uneasy, but you know, actually ended up making it like even creepier. But maybe they did. I don't know. It's kind of fun to think that they sort of didn't, and just it kind of ended up that way. I think that it kind of makes it even creepier. But Shadow Temple, they were going for it, so you could say like, okay, they were making a little bit more on the nose creepy. So maybe that's, you know, it kind of takes away from it in a way. You know, kind of makes it feel like it's a bit ham-fisted, but I don't really think so. Actually, when I went back to this, I kind of changed my mind to like, you know, this one is, you know, just maybe as messed up as the well. There's just maybe a little bit more to the well thing, because like you're beneath it, and there's like some sort of like weirdness factor to that. But yeah, anyway, it's still pretty damn creepy. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. And I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support, and let me know if you'd like to see more of these kinds of videos in the future, because I do enjoy making them for you guys. And I'll see you next time.